Do you ever struggle with self-doubt, imposter syndrome, or just a feeling like you're not good enough? If so, you're not alone. And today I'm going to show you how to build unshakable confidence fast and how to improve your self-esteem. And I'm going to share with you my 5 best tips for doing this. And make sure you stick around to the end because number 5 is an absolute game changer and can literally by itself change your life. And just to warn you, these tips are so good that you might even get more confidence than you asked for. I'm talking about having floods of women just throwing themselves at your feet, and it might be too much. I mean, come to think of it, that's not really a bad thing, but in this day and age, there's a lot of weird people out there who may not want that. But anyways, let's dive right into it. Number 1, the first way to build confidence fast is to simply change your negative self-talk throughout the day into positive self-talk. So the average person has about 60,000 thoughts per day, give or take. Now, these thoughts are constantly programming our subconscious mind, which as we know is the most important part of the overall mind. It's in charge of 95 to 98%, in fact, of the overall mind. But the sad reality is most of these 60,000 thoughts that people have every single day are negative or neutral thoughts. And in fact, about 80% of these thoughts are negative or neutral throughout the day. So it's really not surprising that so many people are struggling with depression or anxiety or just unhappiness. And by the way, of the 60,000 thoughts that we have, about 95% of them are repetitive, meaning that they're the same thoughts that we had the day before. So again, it just re-emphasizes the fact that we're constantly programming our subconscious mind to be negative, to be neutral, and to not be happy and to not be confident. So what I want you to do is every single time you have a negative thought from this point forward, I want you to consciously take a break and change it to a positive thought. So whenever you have thoughts like I can't, or I don't know if I can, or I'm unsure, replace these thoughts with I can do this, I will do this, I'm capable of this, I deserve this. And it may be a little awkward in the beginning and maybe a little unnatural to do this because again, you've been doing this for so many years, having these negative programming thoughts for so many years. It may feel a little off, but the more you do this, the easier it gets. And by the way, the more you start to bring positivity into your life and have these positive thoughts, the more natural it becomes over time. So you switch your mind from being that 80% negative where it's overwhelmingly negative to being somewhere maybe in the middle or possibly even more positive overall, which would be an incredible thing. But even just changing that 80% and lowering it just a few percentage points can make you feel absolutely amazing. And in this case, more confident. The second way to build more confidence fast and work on your self-esteem is to have small wins. So as human beings, kind of as I mentioned a moment ago, we tend to overemphasize the negative, or we tend to look at something and make it seem a lot worse than it really is. And specifically when it comes to a new goal or a task or a challenge in life that we're facing, we tend to overestimate how hard it is and underestimate our capability in doing that thing. But by taking a new task or challenge or goal in front of us and breaking it down into smaller tasks and smaller goals, we make it so much more achievable. And because we're able to achieve these smaller, more broken down goals, it reinforces our competence and our capabilities to achieve these goals. And thus by doing so, it gives us that confidence that we need to continue going forward and building momentum so that we can ultimately take on the bigger, greater goal. Because there's nothing that will give you confidence faster than seeing success in something you really want to achieve. So having small wins and building them up over time is both incredibly powerful for your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. The third way to build confidence fast is to use hypnosis. I talk about hypnosis a lot on this channel because it is one of my favorite ways to reprogram your subconscious mind and see those incredible benefits and changes in the areas of your life that you want to see, especially when it comes to emotions, when it comes to feelings, when it comes to achieving different goals, when it comes to inspiring different states like, say, confidence. You see, from the moment we're born until this moment today, our subconscious mind records every single moment in our lives. It's like the single greatest hard drive or memory storage unit that's ever been conceived. And again, as I mentioned a moment ago, it's in charge of 95 to 98% of our overall mind. That's the subconscious mind. That's how powerful it really is. But the thing is, you can't just tap into your subconscious mind and say, I want to be confident, and automatically you're going to start feeling confident. It doesn't work that way because that's conscious thought. To tap into the subconscious mind, you really got to get past sort of the gate, the security guards, so to speak, that's blocking the subconscious mind because it's protecting your subconscious mind ultimately. You can think of it kind of as having a laptop or a computer where you're trying to get into the computer itself, but you need the code, you need the passcode to actually log into the computer. And if you don't actually have the code to your computer, you're never able to actually log in and make changes to the softwares and the programs that are on there, the windows, all those things that you need to update or change or add or get rid of. And it's really the same thing with your subconscious mind. If you don't have access to getting into the subconscious mind, you're never going to be able to change the programs in that software. And so people go their entire lives and never actually figure out how to work with their subconscious mind and how to make some of the biggest and most dramatic changes in their life, in all areas of their life that they may be struggling in. But by tapping into your subconscious mind, by using hypnosis, you're essentially able to bring in the guard gates and then go right into your subconscious mind, reprogram it, give it all these positive affirmations of having more confidence, more self-belief, more self-esteem, all these amazing things. And you literally reprogram how your mind feels, and you feel incredible after doing this. Now, I recommend daily use of this for at least 30 days to see dramatic changes, and more likely even 2 to 3 months to see optimal results. But hypnosis is incredibly powerful for having confidence and building it fast. The fourth way to build confidence fast is to practice self-care. Now, I'm not talking about getting a massage or getting your hair cut or getting your nails done or whatever pleasure-seeking activity you can think of. All those things can be good and they're fine, but that's not what I'm talking about here. When I say self-care, I mean working on yourself. Exercising daily, eating healthy every day, getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night, having a mindfulness or meditation practice. All of these things that we know we should be doing every single day that most of us slack off on and don't end up doing. But if you really want to have confidence in yourself and self-belief in who you really are, you got to be doing these things every single day. You got to know that you're putting the best foot forward and trying your absolute most to be the best version of yourself. And by the way, you don't have to be at that end result to be confident now. For instance, you don't have to say, if you're trying to lose 40 pounds of weight, you don't have to have lost all that weight right now to be confident in yourself right now. You just have to know in the back of your mind that you're doing everything you possibly can to reach that goal. So if you really think about it, it's not the goal itself that actually matters. It's what you're doing in your life right now to attain that goal that actually matters. Are you doing everything you possibly can in your life, exhausting all options, exhausting all your energy, and doing everything you possibly can to reach the goals that you want in your life? That's what's going to give you confidence. That's what's going to make you happy. If you look at yourself in the mirror and know you're putting it all out there and trying your very best, you're going to have confidence. And that's really what it's all about. The fifth way to gain confidence fast is to face your fears. There's nothing in this life that will give you confidence faster than facing down your biggest fears. It's like using a cheat code in life. It's literally like skipping levels. When you can face down your greatest fears, overcome those fears, you become a different person on the other side. Because whatever that fear is has been holding you back, has been draining your energy, has been eating a piece of you and taking that out of you for years or months or however long it's been. That thing, that fear, has literally been eating away at you for so long. And when you can overcome that, you discover that you're much more powerful, much stronger, and much more confident than you ever realized you were. It's kind of like having a schoolyard bully for years, and they're picking on you and beating you up and just always putting you down until one day you stand up for yourself and actually face the bully, and you smack him right in the face and beat him up, and you realize he wasn't as big or as tough or as terrifying as you thought he was. By standing up for yourself and beating the bully up, you actually realize that you're so much stronger, both mentally and, in this case, physically, than you ever thought you were. And this realization is an incredibly powerful thing that carries on to all aspects of your life going forward. It's like a rising tide of confidence that lifts all boats. So you have this confidence in yourself across all levels and areas of your life. Many years back, I remember having the greatest fear of roller coasters you could possibly have. Every single point in my life leading up to this one fateful day, roller coasters were the most terrifying thing I could possibly imagine doing, because every single time I got on a roller coaster up until then, every time I got off the roller coaster, I would throw up profusely all over myself, all over all of my friends and family, whoever I was traveling with or there with. And it was just a horrible, horrible experience. Never mind the actual ride itself, where the whole time I was petrified and curled up in a little ball, just waiting for the ride to end. Roller coasters up until that point had been the bane of my existence, and I slowly realized that I just couldn't travel on them. But one day I'm with my friend Bobby, who I talk about in the book Elite Mind, is one of the most daredevil friends I've ever had in my life. He's crazy in a good way, but he convinces me, long story short, to get on this roller coaster. I think it was called Bizarro. It was a Six Flags roller coaster in New England. And I don't know the top speed of it, probably 60, 70, whatever miles an hour. Felt like 1,000 miles an hour. And I don't know the peak of the height of it. It's probably 100 feet or so. It felt like thousands of feet in the air, and the drops and the twists and the turns and the upside down. It was just absolutely terrifying. But he convinces me to get on this thing. And long story short, I'm on it. And he tells me that to enjoy these things, you have to get into the moment. You have to act sort of like a jackass and throw your hands up and yell and scream and do all these things. And I don't know why, but I listened to him. And for the first time ever, instead of cowering down, being afraid of this thing, being fearful of the ride, I started doing what he was doing, yelling, screaming, shouting, all these things like Bobby was. And in those moments when we started creeping up to the peak of this thing, the peak of the roller coaster, and felt like we were in the sky, like in the clouds. That's how high it was, at least in my mind. In the peak of it, I realized that by doing all these things, it took myself out of my head and just was living in the moment of actually trying to enjoy this thing. And as we come flying down that first drop, hands were in the air, I was yelling, I was screaming, I was shouting. Me and him were doing the same. We probably looked like a couple of pairs of jackasses on that ride. But I actually, for the first time ever, enjoyed being on that roller coaster, being on any roller coaster, never mind the scariest, possibly one of the deadliest, dangerous ones you could possibly get on. And the rest of the ride, going through all the loops and twists and turns and drops and ups and downs, flying by, screaming through it all. I did the same exact thing, was yelling, screaming, putting my hands up, yelling, laughing, high-fiving Bobby. And I actually learned how to enjoy riding roller coasters. And I got over this incredible fear. From that point forward, the rest of the day, by the way, we jumped on every single ride, the worst ones there, the craziest rides and roller coasters there, went on them each 10 times, 5 times, whatever it was, just kept going as much as we could, jumping back into the line right after it was over. And I learned how to overcome my greatest fear. By doing this, I gained an unbelievable amount of confidence in myself that I could do anything, because from up until that point, I had been petrified of roller, like literally petrified of them. It was the biggest phobia I possibly had. But by discovering that just by facing down my fears, literally facing it down, there's no way of getting out of that roller coaster once you're in the seat and you're buckled in and you're going 70 whatever miles an hour. You have to literally face it head on. But that's the same exact thing that you can do to your other fears in life. Face it head on. And by overcoming it, you gain so much more confidence and self-belief in yourself, because you survive it and come out the other end of it and realize that you're okay, and realize that you're capable, and realize that you have this ability in you somewhere to overcome these things that previously you didn't think you could do or overcome. So my challenge for you today is to go out and face one of your biggest fears. Face it head on, whether it's roller coasters, or say giving a speech, or say taking a dance class or an acting class, or some social situation where you're incredibly terrified of doing this thing. Do that thing. Face it down head on. And then see just how much confidence you gain simply by facing it through, seeing this thing through, and realizing that you're okay and that you're so much more capable in doing this thing than you realized. And like I mentioned earlier, it's not actually about getting that end result or achieving that thing. It's about simply doing that thing. It's about simply putting your best foot forward and taking all your energy and placing it into the right place. Knowing that you're doing everything possible to gain confidence alone, and challenging yourself to overcome your greatest fears, which previously until this moment in watching this video, you probably didn't think you were ever really going to do, or at least anytime soon. But I'm telling you, tackle that challenge on today. And by tomorrow, you're going to have so much more confidence and self-belief in yourself and in what you can do and what's possible. And this one thing alone can absolutely change your life and build confidence incredibly fast. So let me know in the comment section, which fear are you going to tackle today? Is it giving a speech? Is it asking for that raise at work? Is it talking to that beautiful woman who works at that shop that you go to every single day that you're petrified of asking out on a date? Whatever that fear is, I want you to do it today and see just how much confidence you have tomorrow. And for a very limited time only, I'm offering up a few Elite Mind success calls. This is 45 to 60 minutes of personalized coaching from me, where we go over your current greatest challenge or goal and come up with a customized plan to help you achieve that goal right away. Go to elitemind.coach right now and sign up. I'm telling you, there's only a few spots left, so you don't want to miss out. But that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe or follow button right now for more videos just like this.